Hey everyone, welcome back to the lab. In this video, we're going to go into how to use Fathom Analytics in your SvelteKit website. So why are we making this video? Well, Fathom and SvelteKit are both technologies that I really like and are in my core stack, but both suffer from having extremely tiny communities, and that means basically no documentation on how to use them. So my solution to this is to just create little onboarding tutorials to kind of get people onboarded and hopefully see why I like these technologies so much and incorporate them into your own stack. So at the end of this video, you should know how to use Fathom Analytics from your SvelteKit website, and I'm also going to give you the full source code for the projects that I'm using to verify this as well. So first, we're going to briefly go over both of these technologies so you can kind of know if you're in the right video or not. Then I'm going to show you how to actually implement Fathom in SvelteKit, and then finally we will end with verifying the actual integration, because I'm just a random guy on the internet and you should verify this for yourself. We'll leave off with some next steps, which includes giving you links for how you can get the full source code yourself. All right, on to technologies. So SvelteKit is my favorite front-end framework. I've talked about it a lot in previous videos, so I'm not going to go into it too much here. But if you're curious, I have a video on Svelte versus React, which is the most popular framework today. And also, if you're interested in seeing how I use SvelteKit in my production projects, you can check out CloudSeed, which is the boilerplate I use for most projects. Links to those will be in the description. Okay, now onto Fathom. Fathom has recently become my favorite web analytics provider. I've used Google Analytics for years, but it's getting kind of clunky and in some cases is like illegal in certain parts of the world. And so I looked for alternatives. Fathom is the one I settled on. I'm not going to go into too much here because it's out of scope for the video. But the three basic reasons that I really like it is one, that it's simple, way simpler than Google Analytics, exactly what you need, nothing you don't. It's privacy first, which is one of the reasons why it's not illegal. And it's relatively cheap compared to other privacy first analytics providers. If you're looking for similar services, I think the closest comparison is probably Plausible, but I ended up going with Fathom because I actually found it a little bit simpler, easier to use, and cheaper. So that's what we'll be implementing today. Now, if you're curious about getting started with privacy first analytics, but still can't choose, you can use this code to get $10 off your first month. So hopefully that gets you started for a little cheaper. Okay, hopefully you're in the right place. If these are not the technologies that you thought I'm talking about, then probably leave the video. But now we can go into how to actually implement these analytics in your SvelteKit project. So if you've used any kind of analytics platform before, like Google Analytics, they all kind of just give you this little script to put into the header of your website. And this just allows you to download a little payload of JavaScript, which will actually be listening to actions on the page and logging that to their backend. So Fathom's the same. Here's the script, and I'll have a link to where to copy and paste this as well. But the most important part is actually this data-site tag right here, where I've got a placeholder, your site ID. This will be different for every site, and this is how Fathom actually knows which thing to log it for. So it should look similar if you've used analytics in the past. Now in SvelteKit, one of the reasons I like it is because it's very similar to actual pure HTML. And so in a normal website, you'd be using your head tag. In Svelte, we can just use the Svelte head tag to access that as well. Now, in most cases, you're probably going to want to put this in your root layout file, because this is basically the template for all of the web pages that are built within your site. And in most cases, you want to use your analytics across the entire site. So every time anyone visits any page, you're logging those analytics. In some cases, you might have a more complex setup, like you have different analytics for different pages of your site. And you can kind of do that with some nested layouts, but I'd say probably for 95% of you, the root layout is probably fine. Again, if you want to copy and paste this, you can grab that at the original blog post here, which has it. So that's it. That's all the code you need, but we will need to actually find your site ID, and I'm just going to show you how to do that real quick from the Fathom website, both for new sites and existing sites if you already have one. If you're looking for the written steps, I also have it in my blog post here. Otherwise, you can follow along. Okay, so first we'll start with the new site, and here I'm just on my Fathom dashboard for my main site. And if we click up here, we can add a new site like this, and we can just add a placeholder site name and click create. And if you're creating, it'll give you the full code here as well as your site ID. So you can just put those in your Svelte head tag. Now, if you already have a site, then basically what you'll do is go to this sites tag in the settings, and then you'll find the site that you are trying to get the ID for. Click on it, and then go to script settings. You'll see the site ID up here, as well as the embed code right here, which you can grab and put into your header tag. So equipped both with the script and your site ID, Fathom Analytics should be working in SvelteKit. But as I always like to say, you should verify your integration. I'm just a random guy on the internet, and you really got to make sure that your setup's working as well. So the way that I'm going to verify is using a test project. Basically, it's just SvelteKit on Node, which is probably what most of you are building your SvelteKit sites on anyway, unless you're going the static route. And then I'm just going to run it locally using containers, which is just Docker and Docker Compose. This is definitely overkill for just testing this project, but this is how I build real projects, so this is how I like to actually test things. We're not going to go into how most of this stuff kind of works, but I do have other videos like this one, which talks about how to run SvelteKit on Node with Docker if you want to learn more. I will show you how to get full source code access to this test project later in the video, but for now, let's go on to testing it. Okay, so here we are in VS Code, and I have my test project open. Here's my Docker Compose. You can see that I got my Docker file here. But really what I want to bring your attention to is these two files. So I just have my page, which is just at the root page. So if we just navigate to wherever I'm hosting this locally, this is what will get shown up. And then if we look in the layout file, this is where I've put my Fathom script in the Svelte head tag right here. And so I don't currently have an ID here, so I'm just going to grab that from the new site we created earlier in the video. So I've got that ID now, and I'll just copy and paste it here. And then I will run my Docker Compose using a VS Code task, and we'll spin this up, and then we can hit the website and make sure that it's actually logging. Okay, the website's fully built, and I have my Docker Compose pointed to localhost 5000, so let's go over there. So here we are, a very blank page, and hopefully, if we go over to our Fathom dashboard, we will see some analytics. Let's go over to the new one we created, and here it is. One person on the site, one visitors. So it's saying that currently someone is on the site, which is us. And that's basically it. That's how you run Fathom with SvelteKit. Now you can copy and paste all the embed codes from my website, but if you want to get your hands on the full source project code that I used to test this, including how to use Docker Compose with SvelteKit on Node, you can grab that by becoming a HAMY subscriber, and you get full source code access to this test project as well as other test projects that I use in a lot of my other videos. Let me know if you have any questions about Fathom or SvelteKit. I use these in all my projects, so happy to answer any questions you have. And I think that's it for this video. This is where you can find me to send those questions, and I will see you in the next one.